So conscious mirrors, what are they about? Um, the uses and the application for them are infinite. So I won't go into it for a very long period of time because I know our attention span tends not to hold for that long. But I wanted to share at least something of value and in this moment, and that is how conscious mirrors help with triggers and how special they are to us and how grateful we should be for those moments. And I know that that sounds like an oxymoron. What do you mean I'm grateful for the trigger? Well, I'm grateful for the thing that hurt me. I get that. I totally get that. However, that is exactly the point. So I will get into the background a little bit as to what happened to me and how I came at this conclusion. Um, and briefly, I will say that I had a vision. I was transported. And in that moment, I was transported in a way where I was able to see how reality was formed inside our heads, and how very important that was in that moment. And so I was affected deeply by that image and by that vision, because in that moment I understood that there was no one else, that quite honestly, whatever I thought, whatever I was thinking, whatever I didn't know I was thinking was being projected outwardly for me to see. And I realized that every person was a gift, a window in time to see what was unresolved in me. And so the reason why I say that triggers are so 1000% the best thing that can happen to you via a person is this. Um, what triggers represent is an unresolved wound within us. Okay. And this wound can be very old and could be generational. Like it could be before your lifetime, and this could still be playing in your background. You could have inherited it and not know. And so this is where the triggers are important, right? So what I mean by that is, if someone triggers something and you can identify being that or being, anything like that, or your anger uh, comes out, or whatever the case may be, you avoid it because you can't associate being like that person. These are the moments when we're supposed to take the memory and find where and how our earliest memories may have formed into this. Okay. And I'm going to use myself as an example. Okay. Um, it, I can see it from a much higher level perspective now than I could in the moment when I was in it. Okay. And it starts with a intention I had that was clearly defined for me in the simplest of terms as a child. You will be like no one else, and no one will look like you, and you will be able to do things that you don't understand until you understand them. That was my goal. Okay. Now, what happens is eventually we come down to earth and our memory is wiped and we forget that that's our goal. So we come down, you know, we really descend into our whole mind, but that's not the point. We come down and we make this choice and we observe things. And in my case, my 5-year-old mind was observing the fact that, one, I didn't look like anyone in the classroom. Two, I was treated differently based on my appearance. Three, that tiny little thought spiraled throughout my history. It was an innocent little thought, it was an innocent thought. It was a factual thought to me in the moment, right? But what occurred over time is that thought spiraled out. People will treat you badly because you don't look like them. People will discriminate against you because of your appearance. These themes continue to play in my background. And when I say continue to play, I mean, okay, I noticed it when I was 5, and up until a couple of years ago, or this time last year, I still had that theme playing in the background and I didn't know. I did not know. And I say this because it was a moment in which I was triggered in my neighborhood. A woman in my neighborhood decided that I didn't appear like I belonged, decided to tape me, and then place this tape on our homeowner's website, homeowners association. And I remember being so angry with her. And then I started thinking, but where is this anger coming from? And I did what I always do, and I started remembering backwards. And as I remembered backwards, I went back to my high school and then eventually my elementary school years. And I found the source of the memory. Now, that same source memory spiraled out, including up into the very first boyfriend I ever had, whose family hated my guts, not based on the content of my character, but because my hair was curly. As far as they were concerned, I was black, of mixed origin, and did not belong anywhere near him. And so, um, it's again, it's the theme, and how it takes form and how it takes shape. And here I am, not realizing that I am the source the whole time of this unconscious wound that I'm projecting outwardly and that is appearing before me for me to resolve. So that means is that woman who humiliated me, in a sense, or tried to, did me the biggest favor. Because the minute that I discovered what that wound was, I could remove it. And it no longer plagued my history. It's gone. I learned the lesson. I no longer needed it. So imagine if every person that ever triggered you was a window into your unconscious pain, the stuff you need to see to move ahead. And we will be tested. When we have ended a lesson, when it has come all the way around in a circular fashion, and it comes back to meet you, it will appear like different people, but it's the same scenario, and that is your test. And if you pass that test, you can move on to the next level. If you do not, it will replay, and it will replay, and it will continue to hurt until you do. So how much or how valuable is a person that caused you, that made you feel triggered, to you now? Because you don't even have to deal with that other person. You can thank them. You can cut up their contract in your mind. They can disappear. In fact, that's exactly what happened with mine. I thanked her in my mind for everything that she did. I cut up her contract, and her house sold the next week, and she was gone. And it's just a matter of controlling my mind. That's it. And that's the key. One that makes me grateful for every trigger. How's that for mindset?